Previously on Quasimorph, we tried to set up Planet Bridge for success, but then we woke up a rival faction of Quasimorphs. So we diverted from that plan to help them out. But it turns out, we need to get in good with RealWare before we can do that. I tried to do some missions hoping I'd get them on side, but that didn't quite go so well. And when things don't go well, it's important to reassess the situation before taking next steps. Back when we were building up Planet Bridge, I made sure to take any job going to make the people at the top of the ladder weaker. But now we need to get favor with RealWare, which demands a different strategy. Besides some story events, the only way to improve faction relations is to do missions for them. We could try to see if RealWare is attacking anyone right now, but most attacking missions are just one and dones. If we found an asset that RealWare owned and it got attacked, we could defend it multiple times. And this is where the corporate info screen can help us. Checking it now, it looks like RealWare has 12 assets that are spread throughout the solar system. Anything farther than Ceres is pretty much out of the question. It would take over a month to fly that far, and RealWare might actually lose the asset before we arrive. So I checked closer to home and notice RealWare's got an asset on Silkovski. And while it's not being attacked right now, we've got access to monitoring, which can create missions. And Silkovski has only like 5 assets, and no Quasimorphosis. And even better, when we arrive, there's a mission from Planet Bridge. If we attack them, we won't lose any relation since they're our proxy. So let's get right to it.
Grenade! Ah!
Oof. So sad that you'll die of Enigma. Enigma balls! Aha! Call forth my friend.
It burns!
Once this job is over, I can't wait to go home and see my mom. Ow. Oh, so that's what caused the explosion. I'm not sure if I would want to install this onto any of my operatives, since amputating the head seems sort of fatal, but okay, I'll keep it as part of the collection. It's time to fetch, bitch. If this is making me look like a competent player, I assure you, I do still die. Turns out looting everything is not always viable in a game where carry weight affects dodge, and dodge can fall into the negatives. Anyway, after all that grinding, we're ready to pay Sinkhole Oasis another visit. Since RealWare now trusts us, they don't seem to care when we sneak down a ladder into a facility with a strange monolith. Info terminals around the monolith reveal that Dr. Dennett is studying what he thinks is some kind of Quasimorph, and that any attempt to break off a piece of it for study has failed. But Jane suggests we may need to break it to retrieve the spear, so we smack it around a little and... well, shit. We didn't do jack besides setting off the alarm. Now the only option is to loot the place for data before hauling ass. The volume and gear of the defenders would pose a problem, if not for this nice corridor I funnel most of them down. My robot friend helps too. And picking up the last data chip yeets us back to the Magnum, where Jane finds the data shows even a fucking nuke couldn't damage the monolith. And she concludes that we have no leads on how to— Exactly. You understand nothing. Whoa there, Doctor. Let us know ahead of time before you butt in like that. Anyway, the professor directs us to our next stop, Flat Obsidian on Mercury. Something he set up called a telephotic dislocator is there, and the things the professor can do with that tech would make your head spin. If you've played one of the old demos, either through following this game early or buying the supporter pack, you may have remembered this spot being a lot less barren. Eibschwitz very calmly suggests that the coal nodes present may have moved the dislocator deeper into the facility. So we descend into the TD playground and we... fuck. Descending into the TD playground, we find several messages about a head of the civil resistance, Issachar, sending subordinate Gad to try to use the telephotic dislocator to somehow help their head-to-head battle against the anarcho-capitalist system. But we're not advancing their noble cause this run. We also get Tezcatlan's spam mail, but hopefully he'll be old news before long anyway. Gee, thanks. If you're heads in the game, you may have noticed two things happening, or not happening. Civil resistance coal nodes and their variants can never e-collapse, no matter the level of quasimorphosis. They will also never panic or surrender. You might think they're too cerebral to lose their heads, but various in-game text suggests the opposite. While more of them are packing people's front armor, more interesting are their weapons, most notably the Prometheus plasma pistol, one of their first hybrid weapons, and the Red Outcast assault rifle. It's a 7.92 rifle with a generous magazine, a bipod, and a laser sight. Those who've seen my video on the Border series will know that the laser sight completely negates dodge. This thing won't dish out any crits, but unless you've got a lot of pierce resist, it won't need to kill you. Thankfully, I made sure Percy was dressed his best for this mission. Gad and his cronies don't stand a chance. A lot of killing later, we find the dislocator. In 4 pieces. Eibschwitz voices his great displeasure with a full chest. What? Barbarians! Vandals! 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 62? The dislocator is perfectly dismantled into 4 parts. 4! Even a coal node with 1 hand and no thumb can count to 4. These idiots have destroyed a masterpiece of human thought. They've pushed all modern science back to the Stone Age! I'll have to start development practically from scratch again. So, I need alloys, microchips, nails, maybe 4 or 8 this time. We need to consider our previous experience, yes, After that headache, we pick up the pieces as Jane gives a heads up about enemy reinforcements. But I'm sure if we keep our heads down, ah shit. Swarms of coal nodes head down the corridors, seeking ours severed and on a plate. Good thing I thought ahead and picked up all this ammo. Even better, the Kovrov's piercing and wounding abilities mean we don't head off, but do head off the headstrong assault. After digging through the gore piles for valuables, I head back to the Magnum. After dropping our loot into the depot, Jane tells us that Eibschwitz mentally invented an ultimate solution to the damn terrorists and Quasimorphs. It's obviously a bomb. One that's made with various electronic parts, deals triple-digit entropy damage in a wide radius, and will be necessary for our return to Sinkhole Oasis. Naturally, I whip up 12. We also got a phase bomb for free, which we need for the telephoteric engine upgrade for the Magnum, which I take for a spin right away, of course. Whoa. And we get a message from Eibschwitz saying we've entered the realm of the Quasimorphs, and time in the normal world has frozen. Here, there's no research, no gear upgrades, no training, trade shuttle, manufacturing, nothing. Nothing besides the Bromphaturas, our clones, and the engine's energy level. Once we're feeling ballsy enough to fight Quasimorphs on their home turf, we can attempt endless Bromfatura descents to plunder them for artifacts. But for now, we just head over to the Mars Bromfatura, which talks about its lord as though he's been awakened. Anyway, we reach Mars in no time at all, and with customized plasma gun and rifle in tow, Percy sallies forth. As we approach, Jane picks up strange broadcasts in ancient Sumerian. Assuming the station is being attacked, our objective is still the same: destroy the monolith and retrieve the spear. Embraced by the mission of the Blood Warriors, from the beginning we know the realm of a realm that lies beyond the boundaries of the physical universe. This is our true fatherland. We know Urparp, guardian of the bright throne of Gagtongur. To him, we give the glory that comes from our mouth. We also know the created realm. To it, we send our curses. We serve the Conqueror Worm, who bestowed the title of Blood Warriors upon us. From the beginning, we remember him, the father of our spirit, the ancient terror for the manifested realm. Embraced by the mission of the Blood Warriors, from the beginning we feel Enkidu rising through us from the bonds of creation. I'm sure that's totally innocuous. After their rambling about their Conqueror Worm and their fight against the physical world? What? We venture deeper into the facility. The enemies we encounter don't seem any different from standard realware adversaries, besides their heads being filled with religious and not corporate propaganda. Also, I throw a few phase bombs on my way down. Their damage sure is scary, but the bombs themselves are aerodynamically kind of shit. This, plus their long timer, makes them better as a deterrent in open spaces, or for flushing enemies out of tight ones. Who wants to stand next to an ominous blinking package? Not even a coal node, that's who. Warriors, we were born to die on the battlefield. Our flesh is bound in steel to the will of Lord Urparp. Death to the enemies of the Lord! I'm making a cautious assumption that our invasion of Sinkhole Oasis triggered some mechanisms similar to what we've seen on Venus before. I highly doubt, boss, that what we are doing will benefit us or humanity. Don't worry about that, Jane. Sure thing. With this floor mostly cleaned out, I drop my valuables, set up the phase bomb, and throw it. And now we... Wait, what? I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Myriads of demons on fire off the shell of I watched ancient rituals that glitter in the dark near the red and gold throne. All those moments will be lost in time, like specks of dust in the red desert. Time to die. Where is this? Oh. Uruparp has 100 armor against blunt, pierce, cut, and fire. That's not outright immunity, but our rifle and plasma gun will only scratch him. I should have brought a beam weapon or something. Uruparp's also got a plasma cannon, which we are not nearly as resistant to. And the allies that I brought into this fight? Turns out they're kind of frail without armor, plus their guns aren't doing much more damage than mine. So instead of delivering a firing squad style execution, I spent the rest of the battle high on nanostims and military first aid, plinking away Uruparp while terrified a crit will sear my face off. And when his injuries eventually destroy his physical body...
I'm a god. How can you kill a god? What a grand and intoxicating innocence. How could you be so naive?
My shackled consciousness is now free. My kingdom is awakening with me. The time of war is coming, human. Well, shit. At least now we've got the spear, tucked away safely on the Magnum. And, a third quasimorphic faction has emerged to complete this Neapolitan ice cream of ancients. But no time to dwell on consequences. While we await Shiomara's next task, we decide to help Unchained Belt rob Tianming and... Oh. Consequences. Yeah, after exchanging sprays of hot lead and plasma with a giant worm sticking out of a hole, Mars has developed a bit of a crab problem. Who could have seen that coming? These hell crabs are a bit like Earth's crabs, but much bigger in size and chance to set you on fire. Throughout this mission, we see 3 types: claws, flamethrowers, and grenade launchers. The claws, called libators, are the hardiest, while the Isangilian and Galu, the flamethrowers and grenade launchers, are frailer but can harm and kill from much farther away, especially since they spread lots of fire. Also, all 3 types are completely immune to fire damage, and whatever it is they bleed is flammable. Thankfully, my maxed out Marauder means I'm able to scavenge enough alcohol to keep the demons at bay, sort of. And while the facility is an entire 4 floors, I decide I'm fine only plundering 3. I'm hardly equipped to crack crab shells after all. And after this mission, we receive a transmission from the current leader of the Unchained Belt. Corwood Mining Group has a vessel orbiting Vesta. Unchained Belt wants us to capture it and send it to Interamnia, the asteroid with a description wondering why it hasn't been nuked. That one. For you, a well-paid job. For us, a new valuable asset, and for the Belt, a small increase in tension instead of a full-fledged war. Is there any reason to refuse such a contract?